Hello folks, Reverend Crystal Cox, and I want to give you some tips today on making your life better. I still have people telling me that they're waiting for more money. They're waiting for the perfect relationship or the person that they want or used to love to want them back. They're waiting for their job to change. They're waiting for a promotion. They're waiting for their kids to grow up, leave the house. They're waiting for their grandkids to grow up. They're waiting for their health to get better. And the lists go on and on and on. Folks, your life is right now, this moment. Talk to your guides and angels. Pray. Meditate. You are holding a frequency. You are holding a vibration. Your thoughts matter. Everything you think matters. What comes out of your mouth matters. Folks, waiting to spend more time with your partner or be a more loving partner or go for walks or go on trips or read this certain book or build a cabinet or anything at all that you might want to do with your life, you know, take piano lessons, learn woodworking, and it don't matter what age you are. What matters is that you don't put out all these excuses and reasons of, well, you know, I'm going to have more money soon, or this project's going to be done soon, or I'll probably get a promotion, or I might get this, or I might get that. Why not sit in co-creation right now? Tell your angels to help you with what you want right now. Tell your guides and your higher self. And then you make steps towards that, even if it's the tiniest step within your current budget and time frame. You know, I hear so many people saying, well, you know, I don't have money for that. Okay, well, do a version of that and create more money and quit saying out loud all the time, I don't do this or I don't do that because I don't have the money to do it. I'm not saying I don't do it, folks. I'm just saying that it's a key. You know, if I didn't do it, I'd probably have everything in my life that I want. But yeah, we fight negative thinking. We fight negative things that come out of our mouth. We keep waiting for some future thing to happen in order for our life to begin. But really, our life is in this moment. You know, our connection to spirit. I don't believe that we die. I believe that we've had many lives before. You know, this body I'm in now, it has its limitations for what it is in this life. I choose what I do every day. Sometimes I pretend I don't, and I cry, and I wait for things to change, and woe is me. But the thing is I'm choosing my day. I'm doing what I like to do, really. I mean, why can't I just admit it and go, yeah, well, this is what I enjoy to do. I don't really enjoy big crowds or big adventures or traveling here and there and doing all these things that all these people wish they had free time and money to do. I don't necessarily enjoy that. I've done that and I enjoy what I'm doing. And sometimes I tell my life, oh, woe is me, I don't really enjoy it. It's just what I have to do. But that's not true. I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I choose. If you don't like your life, folks, change it, okay, in some way at all. All right, just staying on the hamster wheel. And if you have kids, you're teaching them that. You're inspiring your spouse or your partner to be that way too. I mean, you know, just going to work and coming home and eating and surviving and watching TV and, you know, no prayer, no spiritual stuff, no dance, no going to nature, no, you know, none of this sacred stuff. This is what you're teaching your children. You know, that it's about cell phones and television and internet. And yeah, these days it seems like you can't pull kids away from that stuff. But, you know, at least do it yourself so you can show them an example of something different. You know, so you can have a combination of nature and technology. You know, and I think if I was growing up right now, I mean, I'd be really attached to my phone probably too. But I see that people of all ages are. I'm not. You know, I never was. I did started my real estate company now probably like 14 years ago. I had a cell phone, but I always told my agents I will not answer it when I'm with a client. I always left it in the car and I check messages later. If someone has an emergency and they need to get a hold of me, I never really understood that concept, really, because it's like I'm not a doctor. I'm not a hospital. What good is it going to do to call me if you have an emergency? Okay, yeah, leave me a message. I'll check it. If you're stranded somewhere, I'll try to come help get you. Or, you know, there are things that one can be there. But people, you know, I guess especially mothers are like, well, in case there's an emergency, I gotta. They always have their phone with them. They always have it on. They're always, you know, answering it, and don't matter what age their kids are, what time of night, you know. And I find it a little disruptive when a phone's buzzing or ringing or, you know, something at all hours of the night. And I just don't really enjoy that for myself. And I've kind of got on a tangent here, but the idea is to live in a sacred way, to live centered, to be calm and always in connection with spirit. You know, your business, your political beliefs, your health, your relationships, those are not separate from your relationship to spirit, to God, to Goddess, to the Great Spirit, to the angels. They're connected. So it just makes me sad because I think about how much of my life that was spent with that, you know, and I'm 43 now, and you know, people that still say, well, you know, I'm waiting till we can buy a house, or we can pay the house off, or I'm waiting for this bonus, or waiting for that money, or waiting for this time off, waiting for someone outside of you to decide what your life is in this moment. And I get how you get stuck and you get in survival, and all you can do is get up and go to work, and then get that paycheck, and then get that food, and you get caught in a cycle. So if you can just make little steps of, you know, prayer, or maybe introducing your kids to something spiritual, or, you know, bringing in more organics, bringing in more earth-based, doing something, you know, quit smoking, quit putting toxins in your body, quit drinking so much, quit like work, and then your time off is abusing your body and getting drunk because, hey, I deserve this. Well, you know, there's got to be, I mean, if that's your sacred way, that's what you want, that's fine. But, you know, so many people ask me, well, how can I make changes? You know, how can I create more money, or how can I follow my bliss? How can I create the life that I want when I'm stuck in this job and this cycle? Well, first of all, you can change one night. Say one night a week, you come home and maybe you make organic dinner, you know, make sure it's all organic. Walk on the beach, pray together. And this is not about any particular religion. This is about sacred. This is about intention of what we want, what we're going to create. Maybe one night a week, get out of the habit of doing the same thing every single day, you know, and teaching your children by example to live a more sacred life. And if you don't know how, ask your angels for help. But you know, try and stop saying, well, you know, one day that might be me, knowing you want it to be today, you know. And if you don't want one day and you really like where you're at right now, then just be like, you know what, I enjoy this. I enjoy my job. I enjoy my coworkers. I enjoy coming home and having a beer and having a cigarette, and I enjoy checking my cell phone and watching TV. And, you know, it may seem mindless to you, but this is what I enjoy. Okay, if that's what you enjoy, then enjoy it. But don't bitch about it and say, well, it's this way because I don't have any money, or it's this way because, you know, I'm waiting for so-and-so to love me again, or waiting for my kids to grow, or waiting for my grandkids to grow, or whatever excuse you can have. You don't need an excuse, okay, because that just kind of creates negative energy on it. And two, if, you know, if your kids are listening to it, it's like, it's better for them to hear you say, you know what, I do this because I enjoy it. I feel like it's okay for me, it's good for me, and you can be positive about it instead of saying things like, I know these cigarettes are killing me, but I'm doing it anyway. Or, you know, I'm only sitting here watching TV because I can't afford to, you know, get in the car and drive to the mountains. You know, why don't you just admit that you enjoy sitting there watching TV, okay? People don't realize that these little excuses that come out of their mouth affect their children, affect the people around them, and affect their own spirit guides of what they create for them. They're like, okay, well, they don't really enjoy this. They're just doing this because they want money, or they want, I mean, you're not even really being clear with your guides. Anyway, basically, this was just a little talk on now, you know, not saying one day things will get better. One day we'll want to be in love again. One day we'll fall back in love. One day we'll have more money. One day we'll take trips. One day we'll do this. One day we'll do that. Do it today. And if you don't want to do it with the person you're with, you know, break up. You know, you can still be friends, but, you know, don't just stay there. And these people that say, well, I'm staying for the kids, my God, you're making your kids miserable because you love them? They're watching you be miserable. They're watching you just die on the couch and chain smoke cigarettes and live all unhealthy and not be happy because of them. I mean, how do you think that makes them feel good? I think they'd rather you be single or with other people that aren't necessarily their blood parent and showing them example of someone who's choosing the life they want and not just suffering for other people. You know, life is right now, okay? If you want to be with that person, touch them, hold them, love them, be that now. Don't wait for them to change into somebody that you need them to. You've heard the saying, falling in love with their potential. Oh, well, you know, he'll change one day, because you saw a glimpse of what that person might be or could be, or they've talked about what they dream to be, so you wait decade after decade after decade. They're going to be that one day. Meanwhile, you give your life to something that's a one day that never ever happened. You know, everything is right now, folks, now. I'm not saying you give up on people that are trying to change. I'm just saying to be honest about it. Okay? If you want to live a certain life and you're with someone who's aspiring to live that someday, then you are kind of dumbing yourself down, holding yourself back. I'm not saying you're smarter than that person. I'm just saying they're not where you're at. Okay, so whether it's money or love or your life mission or what you came here to earth to do or happiness or content or whatever, it happens right now. It's not based on a promotion, a job, money, kids, what your partner thinks of you, what some ex thinks of you, what some ex you want back thinks of you, or someone you have a crush on. Oh, if only they loved me, I'd be this or that. And then them waiting for you to change into something that's more suitable to them, and you know, you're just stuck in this cycle when you can be content now. The angels show me how to be content. Angels, please help me to stop saying this negative stuff and stop saying, one day when I have money, I'll be happy. Be happy now, okay? Own your actions, own your moment, and don't wait for one day, because one day is now. God bless you all.